Today I'm going to be talking about Marx, and I think a little more specifically, the idea that um, communism kind of removes the individuality from people, that it kind of strips the individual of his human, like the kind of inherent human value that people supposedly, philosophically, like morally should have. What I found was really interesting when I was reading the philosophic and economic manuscripts by Karl Marx. I thought it was really interesting his kind of reply to that, his response. It's almost counterintuitive and kind of turns the common notion at the time upside down. I think there's an excellent quote on page 74. He says, "Hence, all the physical and spiritual senses have been replaced by the simple alienation of them all, the sense of having. Human nature had to be reduced to this absolute poverty so that it could give birth to its inner wealth." And I think that really kind of sums up his argument very well, that it's really not communism that's stripping the individuals of their individuality. It was every political system before that. It was feudalism, it was fascism, and capitalism. And I think that's maybe a bit of an oversimplification of it, but it's really mainly just the kind of notion of private property that he's really against. It's this idea that it's going to alienate the proletariat or alienate the worker, and it kind of turns the worker into a slave to the machine, so to speak, rather than kind of a functioning human being in society. And and that's really why he mentions capitalism so much, where even though private property kind of took place, or it appeared in other political systems before capitalism, but capitalism is the one political system that's founded solely on the notion of private property, and Marx has kind of a deep problem with that. And so in actuality, he claims that it's communism which is going to give rise to individuality, like this inherent human value. And he says that actually the starting point of his revolution, of the communist revolution, will be grounded on the ideals of individual human value. And I think that's kind of where we can start to see how Marx is a bit of an idealist. And I think a lot of the times people really kind of vilify him. Especially a lot of Western culture vilifies him for the communist tendencies, and they don't really go much past that. And I think that was one of the coolest parts in the entire process that we kind of read. Further than that, we got to see a lot of what Marx is about, and I really